Welcome back to the BlackTrack, where I do commentary and review on movies with an all-black cast, or at least a black lead. When I think about the movie Booty Call, I think about the fact that many people, myself included, went into it thinking it was a raunchy, sex-filled comedy, but we ended up sitting through what was essentially a safe sex PSA. I should have known better when it was my mom's who suggested that we go see this movie together in 1997. Me being a young kid who hadn't yet discovered sex, I should have peeped this as an effort by her to have the talk without actually having the talk, but I didn't know any better. I just wanted to see some ass. Booty Call was directed by the late Jeff Pollack, who also directed Above the Rim, which I've already covered on the BlackTrack. Go check it out. The script for Booty Call was written by Takashi Buford, whose previous credits include Set It Off and House Party 3, and it had been floating around for a while before landing at the desk of Columbia Pictures. Supposedly, it had to be heavily rewritten from what it originally was, and I would love to see that original vision, to see if it matches what my horny teenage self thought the movie was going to be. The premise is very simple. Two men go on a double date and suffer a series of misfortunes in their attempt to have sex with two women by the end of the night. What really drew me to the movie, and what makes it stand out from the other comedies of the time, is its cast. Booty Call came 3 years after the ending of the TV show In Living Color, but brought back together two of its cast members who arguably had the best chemistry out of anybody on the show, Tommy Davidson and Jamie Foxx. Both had bit parts in movies and television leading up to Booty Call, but both actors, Fox in particular, expressed a desire to prove that they could carry a movie on their own as leads. They were joined by the kind of underrated Tomala Jones in her second film. I last showed Jones when I talked about The Wood and Next Friday, and also Vivica A. Fox, who was the biggest star here since this movie came out 1 year after she had starred in a little-known sci-fi movie called Independence Day. You might have heard of it. Does Booty Call do enough with its comedy to overcome the blatant bait and switch it pull to draw the audience in? Let's BlackTrack and find out. You might remember differently, but Booty Call isn't that long, just a little over an hour, so I'm glad it gets right to the point, introducing its main cast and setting the stage for future events. The movie begins with a man named Buns, played by Jamie Foxx, playing dice with some guys, showing you right from the start that he's a little street. What kind of name is Buns anyway for a man? Is he named that because he always gets the buns, or because he is the buns? I have a friend who nicknamed himself Kidneys because when he smashes, he says he always manages to hit the kidneys, if you know what I'm saying. I'm just gonna assume this is a similar situation. Rashawn, played by Tommy Davidson, is clearly a man about his business. The movie doesn't explicitly say that, but why else would he still be in one of the suits he got from the movie Strictly Business? Booty Call wants to drive home the point early that hooking up is a universal form of male and female mating, not just reserved for so-called low-class individuals like what is commonly believed. That's further established by the fact that Rashawn is actually in a relationship with a woman named Nikki, played by Tomala Jones. They've been dating for 7 weeks, and she still hasn't given Rashawn some action. Even her friend Listerine, played by Vivica Fox, is appalled. Listerine, huh? Wouldn't it be ironic if her breath was stink? I'm on the fence about the 7 weeks thing. When you say 7 weeks, it makes it sound so short, but that's damn near 2 months. And when you say it like that, it does seem a bit excessive. That just goes to show you though, that Booty Call comes out the gate punching you in the face with an abstinence message, and we just getting started. This 7 weeks thing is kind of like a probationary period for Rashawn, because he can't get no perks or benefits associated with it. That includes going on dates with Nikki alone, I assume, since they arrange a double date between themselves and Buns and Listerine, who have never seen each other. Surely Nikki and Rashawn have gone on dates alone before this, right? So at this point, Nikki is just playing in his face. The restaurant is ran by an Asian man named Chan, and since this is 1997, I bet you think you're only going to get a broken English stereotype. But no, silly, you're going to get that and gay. 2 for 1.
Hello, my name is Chan, and I'm here to serve you tonight.
Hey, bro, Rashawn?
Did somebody order the extra zesty? I guess you could call him sweet and sour Saucy Santana. You could say this character doesn't age well, at all. But to be honest with you, I don't think the portrayal is all that bad. I'm more offended by this part.
Well, I got 3 things for you. Back up Yoko Ono.
Oh, nigga, please.
Who approved that? Listerine's reaction to seeing Buns has always been hilarious to me. Rarely does a woman have to take one for the team, and her reaction is why. You gotta hide your disdain better than that. It's rumored that Vivica Fox and Jamie Foxx did not get along during filming, but nobody could seem to remember why they had such a rivalry. What were they beefing over, the name Fox? The makers of the film theorized that Vivica felt Jamie was trying to upstage her and the film, and she saw herself as the more established actress. We'll never know unless she comes out and says why. What I do know is that Jamie Foxx undoubtedly steals the movie. I don't even have enough time to show every funny line he has in this film, because it's nearly every line, but he knocked it out of the park, and I would have felt threatened too if I had to sit through this comedy clinic.
Damn, girl. Why you gotta order the most expensive shit on the menu?
Rashawn, you need to check your boy.
Check my ass. That's what I'm talking about, is a check.
Whatever negative feelings they have for each other sure didn't manifest in the movie, because they have excellent chemistry. They even dedicated themselves to learning Chinese semi-fluently, just so they could ad-lib a scene where they snap on each other.
So your Malay, no gon matu duck.
Hong Che Ti Dao.
Che mon dang han duck.
Chao Gai.
Kong hai chong.
Lo Le Mo Gao Chao Hai.
No lo mo.
De Ga Som Ji To Ming.
Say bao.
Chao Gai.
No fighting in restaurant. Cost you extra to fight in restaurant.
Daily.
Yeah, you like that, don't you? Remember when this used to be considered top shelf booty? It ain't got nothing to do with nothing, it just stood out to me for some reason. Nikki is testing my patience, and I ain't even the one dating her. Who plays cards after a date? Sure, I get it. You don't want to be alone with Rashawn because you don't have any coochie control confidence, but you ain't about to sit at the table and rub it in my face either.
Oh, that's funny to y'all? A guy go out with a girl for 7 weeks and don't get up on no intimacy, and that's funny to y'all?
Well, maybe the girl wants a more profound relationship. Maybe she's not interested in having casual sex.
Maybe the girl wants a deeper commitment. Maybe the girl wants a soulmate.
Maybe the girl's got some soul searching to do.
Maybe the girl got a brother uptown with 9 inches of ding-dong knocking the bottom out your ass.
You know, I never got the big deal about footsie, but maybe I'm the one missing out because they at this table getting off. Whoo, how you get acne on your toes? I ain't never seen that before, and it's hammer time. You know what's an interesting thing about this scene that I never knew? It's obvious that Jamie is wearing prosthetics on his foot, but the filmmakers also said that everybody else is wearing makeup on their feet too, to make them look even better than Buns' feet. I never even considered that. Even the dog is getting in on it, and he the nastiest one. Oh man, I was hoping so badly that I would learn after all these years that they used some kind of trickery to pull this scene off, but no. They really let the dog lick Jamie Foxx's ass. There is some kind of pad in between, but still. Isn't there laws against this kind of thing in Hollywood? Hell, isn't there laws against this kind of thing nearly everywhere? It's a shame I had to say nearly right there. I can't believe that Buns actually thought that Listy was licking his taint under the table, but regardless of what I think, he hit the jackpot when Listy believed he was licking her toes, and he's about to cash out. Let me tell you a story about the longest session of foreplay I have ever seen in my life. Buns and Listerine spend almost the entire movie trying to convince us that they doing the old yum yum bouncy bouncy, only for the camera to zoom out and show us that they're bullshitting around. Thankfully, Jamie's comedy makes you forget all logic and he continues to steal the show. See, Listerine is turned on by impressions, and boy did she find the right one. She gets to make out with Jesse Jackson.
Just let me say that the ass is round. Ooh. And you know that I'm down.
Martin Luther King.
I have a dream that one day every valley shall be explored. Every hill and every mountain shall be fondled.
Captain Kirk.
Stardate 2102. I'm without contraceptive, so please leave me the fuck alone.
Even Bill Cosby.
First I start kissing it, and I'm licking it because I'm thinking about sticking it.
That last one is relevant because Bill Cosby absolutely hated everything about Booty Call. He called it disgusting and said that young black people only think about sex. Some jokes write themselves. Speaking of kind of disgusting, during the commentary on the movie, the director and the producer spent an uncomfortable amount of time discussing Vivica Fox's body and how sexy she is. Then they had the nerve to be confused about why she didn't want to do nude scenes or felt uncomfortable humping on Jamie Foxx. Hell, I wonder how many takes y'all made her do while y'all sat there eyeballing her. Can you blame her? So, you telling me they not already doing it right here? What's the point of all this dick teasery? Rashawn himself is just about to set foot in the door, but he forgot his knocking boot covers. Unfortunately for his clumsy ass, he drops it and the dog tries to eat it. Definitely can't use that. You know where that dog's mouth been? Nikki is the worst. So now because Rashawn needs to go get a condom, she calls and hates on Buns, and now he's got to go get a condom. The tagline for this movie could have been called A Quest for Booty, because that's exactly what it becomes. Buns and Rashawn go on the first of many side quests to find a condom, and despite the fact, as we'll learn later, that another store was available from the start, they take their cheap ass to a flea market. Or at least that's what this looks like. If you're wondering why everywhere they go is ran by Asian people, it's because Nikki and Listerine live in Chinatown, because the rent, as they say, is cheaper. Bet you can't say that with 2024 rent. Hey, I know this guy. He was one of the henchmen in the Temple of Doom movie. I wonder if he sells the antidote.
To what? The poison you just drank, Uncle.
See what happens when you thought you was being cheap? This guy charges $38 for some lambskin condoms. For that amount of money, I better not just last all night, but well into the next week. It better protect me from everything, not just STDs. I'm talking car crashes, gunshots, slip, trips, and falls, all of that. They did all of that, only for Rashawn to get back and be preached to by Nikki about his choice of condoms.
Rashawn, these are lambskin. Don't you listen to the Surgeon General? Lambskin condoms don't protect you against the transmission of the HIV virus.
You might as well have put all the disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. If you was gonna give us a commercial, I laugh, but this movie was the first time that I learned about lambskin condoms, so kudos to Nikki for the sex education. I also like how every time Rashawn and Buns return to the apartment, Nikki and Listerine are wearing less and less clothing. Well, Nikki is. Listerine and Buns been naked since damn near the beginning of the movie. How have they not even started round one by now? In this state of undress, there's no way it didn't at least slip in by accident by now. Rashawn and Buns go to the one place they should have went in the first place, an actual convenience store. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot, this isn't the South. They went to a bodega. It's ran by another one of the stereotypes that's been re-examined as this movie has aged. I'm half and half with the controversy, like literally half and half, because one of the guys is played by Art Malik, and he actually is Pakistani. But the other guy, well, the other guy is straight up white. But at least he didn't throw on a brown face. You can only really criticize him for his 7-Eleven voice.
All three.
You moved the kerosene. You gotta tell me when you move these things.
Do I have to tell you everything? I'd like to fuck the dog. Do I have to tell you that too?
Yeah, too much information.
Looking at it now, I don't know how I couldn't tell he was white in 1997. If anything, that speaks to how well he threw everything into the character. I'll give him credit for that. All right, they got the latex. It's time for some action. There should be no more distractions. Ooh, and Nikki got that shit on. I gotta admit, her constantly changing clothes like this is highly suspicious and makes it seem like she planned to put Rashawn through this the whole night. But like I mentioned earlier, I think it was just a clever way to build tension. As an audience, especially the male audience, we get hornier and more ready to see Nikki Bear get the stuffing beat out of her the more skin she shows. But the movie keeps snatching it away from us. It's a clever yet subtle plot device that I think went under the radar when this movie was released. At least for me anyway, because as soon as I saw her in that outfit, all the blood and the ability to think just left my brain and went somewhere else. I can't even explain it. Man, Tommy Davidson is such an underrated physical comedian. Rashawn let Buns get a hell of a head start on the foreplay, and now he gotta catch up. So he starts going downtown in Chinatown. But first, an ad break.
Ooh, what are you doing?
Going downtown, baby, on the A train.
Yeah, but that's great. That's wonderful. But don't you think we need some protection for that?
I just went to the store, baby. I got that. Don't you worry about nothing.
You need dental dam to protect against the exchange of bodily fluid.
I've been giving Rashawn a lot of rope and leeway up until this point. But when Nikki tells him he can just use Glad Wrap instead, and he discovers that she doesn't have any, this is the point where he really needed to put his foot down and make a decision. But she convinces him to go back to the store with the old "you do me and I'll do you" routine. Who falls for that, even in 1997? Poor Buns. This man slams the door progressively angrier every time he has to come back out. I'm mad for him, but I forgive the movie this time, because if they didn't come back to the store, we wouldn't have gotten a cameo from the great Bernie Mac. Talk about a surprise. He's basically the same character he was in Friday, but instead of being a pastor, he's a judge. This is where Booty Call kinda starts going off the rails, but in a good way for the most part. The store gets robbed, and Rashawn and Buns take out the gunman and leave without even giving as much as a statement. Then, remember earlier when I was insinuating that blood must leave your brain and affect your thinking when you're horny? Well, there's gotta be something to it, because why else would Rashawn and Buns wrap themselves up like a sub sandwich just to do some mouth service? I mean, they turn into some complete buffoons.
Gotta help her
What?
Motherfucker, was you gonna wait for me to turn into a butterfly?
I try so hard not to judge though, because once again, I never heard of no damn Dental Dam before this. This movie educated the out of me in '97, and this was 2 years before I had any kind of internet to look this stuff up. Nearly dying for some ass finally sobers them up to the reality of the situation, and they abandoned the bet. Wait, did I remember to mention that they had a bet about who would smash first? Even if I did, it doesn't matter, because the bet made no sense from the start. They all wanted to smash each other regardless, and all four were working towards that goal. Not like either group had an advantage. Also, it wasn't like Rashawn and Buns were trying to sabotage each other, so it makes it even more stupid that Buns would hate on Rashawn at the 11th hour about a bet that the audience had completely forgot about. It's at this point where I think Booty Call went through its rewrites. I don't want to say it gets stupid, but it kind of abandons the vibe it had going up until this point. I was more invested in a funny comedy about two guys trying to smash, but failing miserably, versus a goofy cat and mouse chase through a hospital. Rashawn gets accidentally shot. Yes, you heard that right. And yes, it does come out of nowhere. And the whole crew decide to take him to the hospital. Remember that episode of Martin where Tommy gets into a car accident and they spend the whole episode trying to find him in the hospital? This is basically that. Only Rashawn gets mistaken for an amputee patient, and they have to find him before he gets his nuts cut off. Yes, for those who have never seen this, I'm being serious. This section of the movie feels suspiciously added on for whatever reason. Test audiences, length, who knows? But I don't now, or have ever liked this part of the movie. It does find a way to get us to our main event though, Buns finally getting the chance to swish around in that Listerine. Isn't it ironic that when it finally happens, they're wearing the most clothing that they have been wearing the entire movie? It lasts a whole 3.5 seconds, maybe even 4, but she does not want to marry a nigga.
Damn, my crippled ass could have rolled around in her coochie longer than that.
Damn, he's been watching this the whole time. The whole 3 seconds.
Hey, y'all gonna get off my man Buns. If anybody went through the most dick teasing tonight, it's this guy. They finally find Rashawn, he realizes he respects Nikki more than Buns' opinion, and they finally have sex in the end. Only wait, there's more. There was an original ending that the filmmakers really wanted, but this is one of those moments when, thank God, the test audiences hated it, because so did I. It fast forwards something like 40 or 50 years, to where the four are ridiculously old but still together, and they more or less recreate the card table scene from earlier, complete with the butt licking. The test group, rightfully so, said it kills the hip young adult vibe the movie had going for it. And yeah, among other things, I mean, what we got is equally goofy, but at least it fits the characters better. But hold up, what about the guy who was really supposed to get his nuts cut off in the hospital? Did he just decide he would rather die than to go through with it? I guess so. Let's get to the grade. It's a shame that Booty Call was disliked so much by Black Hollywood. It was in a lot of ways doomed from the start. From its unfortunate name, which was originally supposed to be Condom Quest or something goofy like that, to the bait and switch advertising, all the way to the several high-profile black people condemning it, like the NAACP, Bill Cosby, Jamie Foxx himself has bashed it in interviews, and Rock of all people, Charles S. Dutton himself even trashed it. But his reasoning was that he wished more people went to see John Singleton's Rosewood instead of Booty Call, which came out the same week. Look, I love Charles S. Dutton, Lord knows I do, and Rosewood is a certified classic and one of my favorite movies. But if I had a choice between going to see a lighthearted comedy about sex versus a raw and uncut true story about the massacre of black people, I'm probably taking the comedy 10 times out of 10. And I wish more people had taken to the comedy of Booty Call, because it's a truly funny and underappreciated film. It hit the scene before raunchy comedies like American Pie took off, and even was a precursor to all in one day or night comedies we eventually got, like The Hangover. I wish there was a way they could have incorporated the safe sex aspect into the marketing, because it was very clever, but they were damned if they did and damned if they didn't with this film. If they came right out and told everybody that it was a safe sex movie, then probably a lot less people would have gone to see it. Keep in mind, This was almost during the height of the 90s HIV/AIDS awareness campaigns aimed at the black community, so moviegoers wouldn't have went to a movie to be preached to. At the same time, making it seem like it actually was a raunchy comedy full of sex ended up shooting them in the foot and caused a smear campaign that killed its box office, despite the people against it never even watching it. Luckily, the movie found a home and cult status in the VHS and DVD market and is recognized today for the clever comedy that it is. Nearly everybody involved in it has nothing but positive things to say about it, and although it didn't really launch any careers or set the box office on fire, it's got a bunch of classic lines and it still holds a respectable place in my list of good movies I can watch multiple times. My grade for Booty Call is a B-. I wouldn't mind seeing this movie remade with a different spin on it, besides the sex education. And that's it for this episode of the BlackTrack. Is Booty Call one of your favorites, or do you think it deserved the reputation that it got back in '97? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and tell your friends about my channel. And until next time, I'll holler at you.